afternoon and good evening, boys and girls. Welcome back to a few of my favorite exercises. For the last few weeks, I have showed you so far 9 of my favorite exercises. Today, I'm going to show you 10. If you haven't gone back and watched any of the videos, at least go back and watch last week's video because I got into some kind of stuff that needs explaining. Today, I'm going to show you number 10. Number 10 is going to be a unilateral upper body vertical press. It sounds fancy, but let's break that down. So review from last week. Last week we talked about the difference between bilateral and unilateral. Bilateral is where you use 2 arms and 2 legs at the same time. Unilateral is where you use 1 arm or 1 leg at a time. Also last week I talked about lower body exercises and upper body exercises and a different way to view them and organize them in your mind. With the lower body, you had 2 major movements. Hip dominant exercises for the lower body and knee dominant exercises for the lower body. For the upper body, it's almost just as easy. Think of everything in 2 major terms. You've got horizontal to the body where you're moving horizontal this way and vertical, moving vertical. In both of these, you've got a push, which could be a bench press, a push up. You also can pull here, which would be a row. So you've got pushing and pulling horizontal, and you've got pushing and pulling vertical. So pushing vertical is basically like an overhead military press. Pulling vertically is like a pull-up. And just like last time, not every exercise is going to fit easily into those boxes, but so many of them will. So finally, this leads me to exercise number 10, which is a unilateral vertical press. So it sounds so fancy. I don't do any of this to make anything more complicated. I'm just trying to help you organize and see all exercise and put them into certain categories. So we already know what unilateral means. Unilateral means using 1 arm or 1 leg. For this exercise, we're going to be using 1 arm. But if you do 1 arm at a time, you've got to do the other arm. And vertical press, all that means is we're pressing vertical, straight up and down. Don't make it any more complicated than that. The reason number 9 and the reason number 10 exercise today are categories instead of specific exercises because in my mind when I'm organizing a workout, I want to have maybe one of these in it, but I don't necessarily want to do the same thing over and over and over for this category. So it gives you a little bit of freedom. So if we're doing a unilateral upper body vertical press, you've got several options, and I'm going to show you 3 or 4 right now. If you sit down a lot for work, you just sit down a lot during the daytime in general, I really like getting down on 1 knee and having 1 knee up and taking a dumbbell or whatever weight you have in 1 arm and doing a strict press like this. I like this because not only are you working your upper body, but you're also working your core, but you're also getting a good stretch back here. Great exercise. The next variation is simple. You're basically going to stand on both legs, put a weight, whatever weight you have in 1 arm, and you're going to press straight overhead. Nothing too complicated about that. Another version is to take a little heavier weight, one that's almost too heavy to press here, and do what's called a push press, where you dip back a little bit and then cheat it up. You're basically using your hip, bending like you're sitting down, and then pressing up. You're not squatting down, you're just bending just a little bit, and then helping use your lower body to help get your upper body up. My personal favorite is to use a kettlebell. I like a kettlebell because the weight hangs off the back. So when you do a press with a kettlebell, you're constantly fighting this weight that's wanting to pull you backwards and wanting to pull your arm back, and you're constantly having to fight it. And you have to, you basically have to think about pulling the weight down and pushing it back up. So in essence, you're getting that push and pull in 1 exercise. There's lots of different versions that I could show you. The last one that I use a lot is I take a dumbbell, usually heavier than this, but I may bring it from down here, clean it up here, and then press it overhead. I may even pick it up from the ground and then come up. And I may even snatch the weight overhead. You could do this with a kettlebell, dumbbell. Sometimes I even like to use a barbell. And I'll get down here, I'll do basically a hang snatch overhead, get the barbell into a safe position, press it up, and then bring it back down safely, usually with both hands. Lots of different options. The purpose is to do one of those options each workout, enjoy it, look forward to it. When you get bored, move on and do another version. So far, that's 10 exercises. I've still got a few more to go. I'm gonna do a video after I've done all my quote unquote favorite exercises and show you a lot of other little things that I like to do. There's so many different variations. The whole point of all this is to get you thinking a little bit outside the box. When you read magazine articles or you look at apps, a lot of times they show a lot of the same exercises, or They show you very weird abstract exercises that are not very popular, that most people don't do, and they're doing that maybe for the novelty of it, to try to look a little different. But you do want to stick with exercises that have a lot of bang for the buck. All of the exercises I'm showing you, in my opinion, have a lot of value. I do them with beginners. I do them with advanced people. I use them myself. So I've got lower body exercises so far. I've got upper body. I've got full body exercises. I've got body weight exercises, exercises where you use implements. Now we're getting into one arm, one leg. So lots of options with just the 10 I've showed you so far. Stay tuned. I've got a few more coming soon.